Welcome to Season 2 of Red Sox Digest, the only show where pain, sarcasm, and false hope collide nightly, like a Masataka Yoshida ground out to second. We break down every loss, every meltdown, and the occasional win, with sarcasm, facts, and no front office spin. Subscribe today at RedSoxDigest.com, or keep wondering how a wildcard team spent an entire offseason avoiding power hitters. And now, here's the crew at Red Sox Digest.
Good evening, sports fans. Yes, this is Nick Face in for Jim Dalfino tonight, hosting tonight's Red Sox Digest. If you digested that fun this afternoon for the Red Sox and their annihilation by the Atlanta Braves, I question your sanity in having a life on a Sunday afternoon. That I will absolutely ask myself. The Red Sox lost 2 of 3 to the Atlanta Braves this weekend. They did have a rather exciting game, I shall say, Saturday night. We will discuss that with Peyton Toley and a little bit of fireworks at the end of the game for Aroldis Chapman escaping that victory last night. We also learned this past few days that Trevor Story is now on the IL. I think John and Thayer, I don't want to speak for themselves, but I think we're very grateful that he's heading that way. We'll talk about what the team will look like without him. We will also go over the probables for the next series upcoming for the Kansas City Royals. They start that 3-game series tomorrow night in Kansas City. We also have some news to go over with Roman Anthony as his brace is off that wrist and he is starting to take a little bit of dry cuts. We'll figure out what's going on there, and then we'll talk about what the heck we do with Brayan Bello. Just didn't have his binky in his bottle. We just couldn't rock the baby. Couldn't rock him today. So we'll go over all that fun stuff as well tonight. Joining me tonight is John Martinello and Thayer Doyle. We'll open up the floor to our awesome friends. John, how are we tonight?
Could be doing better, Nick. Yeah, I mean, tough series. Granted, you're playing against the best team in baseball this year. I feel like that we should have won the first game. They won last night, and then again today. It's Brayan Bello just doing what he's done as a starting pitcher this year. It's been really tough to watch. It's not fun. If you follow me on Twitter, you saw my just discomfort throughout this game today, and just like how a lot of these games go. You get to the 5th inning. Today it was 4 batters into the game, and you just know the game's over. It stinks. There's just nothing. Most games are over by the 5th or 6th inning because they get down by 2 runs, and for a fact that they're not coming back. Even in a 0-0 game, we feel as though we're losing 3-0 just because we don't know how the hell this offense is going to formulate a run. So it was a tough series, but now you go down to you go over to Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City where you're facing a Royals team that hasn't won in a week. So, there's still time. They're 3 games out of a playoff spot. There's still time to go on a run, find an identity, do something. But losing a series never feels good. But losing and just not showing any signs of life, anything positive to go into the next series, it makes things more difficult than they should be.
All right. Want to jump over to Thayer. Thayer, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Nick. I'm confused, as it sort of seems to always be the case with the Red Sox. They talked about pitching and defense, and I have to say defensively and from the pitching mound, the starters have been outstanding. Like John was saying, we faced the best team in the National League, and really, if you don't include Bello, our pitchers shut them down, and they held them there. And Toley and Early are doing their job. Suarez going back into the Phillies series, Gray going into that Phillies series are doing what they're supposed to be doing. The issue is we cannot hit at all. And I know we talked a little bit about it what's Cora doing? Why isn't Cora playing Mayer? Why is he doing this? Why are all these people going on? And then we saw the move where Breslow just cleaned house. And from there, I at least expected something different. But there's been nothing different. Story, we'll talk about that, goes down, and yet Mayer is now still playing second base. We heard all this stuff over the offseason that we're not going to trade Mayer because Mayer is our most important piece. Yet he's still playing second base, and he's platooning with other people. I don't understand this at all. The Sox have completely lost their mind, and we've worried about this for the last 5 to 6 years. And Breslow, in fact, in showing us in this microcosm, has no idea what he's doing. None whatsoever. He's made the moves, he's taken control, and nothing has changed. So my question is, why are we firing people? Was it really Alex Cora's fault? Was it really all of those people's fault? I'm seeming to think that it probably is Breslow.
A move just to make a move. I think that's what this was about. And again, as we talked a couple weeks back when this move happened, a power struggle. It was Breslow versus Cora, and Breslow knocked Cora out. And now Breslow's in charge, and now we're seeing his tremendous product that he has.
But I wonder where the power sort of issue was, because Cora was doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's right.
They're putting the same lineups out. The only difference is Duran's leading off and not able to sort of hit water if you fell out of a boat. So who was right? Who was wrong?
I think they both were wrong, but now we're just facing the one wrong, not the both wrongs. Let's go to our Face the Facts.
It's time for Face the Facts, where excuses get laughed out of the room, your feelings are irrelevant, and your opinion probably doesn't matter. No spin, no cope, just the facts. And now, your esteemed host, Nick Face.
Yeah, here I am again. So, we usually do our word of the day. Word of the day for me today is binky, as in Bello did not have that today. And that's where the biggest thing for me today is I am so tired of having to deal with Brayan Bello. The amount of hype, the amount of talk, the amount of chatter that we have heard ad nauseum for 5+ years now is just, it's Clay Buchholz-esque. And I think it's worse than what Buchholz has ever did. I actually put Clay Buchholz on a higher trajectory than I do with Brayan Bello. But today they decided to take the binky away. No more bottle. Big boy time. And he completely collapsed yet again in that first inning. We've seen Nick Pivetta. This was probably, 2 years ago, when they did the opener. It was usually Bernardino or somebody else would throw the first inning, get him set into the bullpen, and then he'd come out and seemed like he fixed himself. Well, we reverted right back to Brayan Bello of old, where he completely collapsed. The game was over, as John said at the very beginning here when we started, and everybody could go on their merry way for their Sunday afternoon and not have to deal with watching the pitiful product that's on your television screen. So my question here to you guys, again, goes back to, where is the future riding right now with Brayan Bello? How many more chances is he going to get? That's one of my questions. Question 2, will they go back and try this again with an opener and then put him from the bullpen and get him back in? And my third question is, are they just going to say, phantom IL stint, bring him to Worcester or something to figure something out? What are we going to do here? Are we going to go through another ride here in this rotation with him? And will they continue to wreak havoc on our television screens? Let's go to Thayer first.
I think we're going to see Bello until Crochet is fully healthy and back in. And it's unfortunate, but I think that's what they're going to do. And I agree. Bello has $1 million arm, but a 10-cent psyche. And that's really the issue with him. And I'm not going to defend that with him. However, and again, back to what I was talking about, the people in charge have no idea what they're doing. He was successful with the opener. No matter how you sort of throw it around, he was successful. And as a coach, as a manager, as people in charge of players, your job is to put them in a place, in a situation where they can be successful. Bello has shown you starting is not a place where he is successful. Coming in the second inning, and I know it's a small sample size, but the 2 times he did it, he was very successful, and at least in relationship to what he's been doing. Yet the Red Sox decide to go away from that. And their excuse was they used too many guys out of the bullpen the last couple of days, so they didn't have anyone. Hello, when Bello gets blasted, guess what you still have to do? Mm-hmm. So, again, it's malpractice on the part of the front office and the coaching staff. I don't understand it, and it's really – I'm not giving Bello a pass. He is a player that is struggling mentally. No question about it. His psyche's not there. There's an issue between the ears. However, as the people in charge, if you, I, and John know that doing this podcast, those people that are wearing the uniform, that are getting paid, should understand the same thing and should make the appropriate moves to ensure that they're putting these players in the best possible situation to win, which they're not, and it's a malpractice.
Do you think Andrew Bailey has a blame in this with Bello, or do you think this is just more Bello himself mentally?
I think it's more Bello than anything. I mean, we saw Thayer, talking about, is there something, in his mental state that's bothering him? We saw in 2024, his wife and his kid weren't able, to get into the country and stay here. So we knew that, and if anybody watched that Netflix documentary, it's well aware that is what bothered him throughout that entire season. And then in September of that year, he was finally able to be with his wife, and that was when he started pitching really well in that last month of 24. And then last year, he was with his family for the entire season, and he had the best year of his career with a 3.32 ERA. I know that the numbers under the hood didn't look that great, but that season's over. He had a 3.32 ERA, and we were very happy with the Brayan Bello that we got last year. But yeah, no, now we just see something. He just looks, I don't want to say upset. He just looks sad. He's looking for somebody to feel bad for him. And unfortunately, nobody's going to. I mean, if the Red Sox go score 5 runs in the first 2 innings of the game, they typically take their feet off the gas and, they'll coast until it's 5-4 in the 8th. The Braves were bunting on him with nobody on base when they were up 7-0 today. Nobody's going to feel bad for you, Bello. And, what I would do from here with him is you're going to have to I'd just put him in the bullpen now. They have they have Thursday off, and then next week they have that Monday off. So they're in a kind of a weird place right now where you could actually roll with a 4-man rotation for the next 10 days or so, and not have any guys going on 4 days of rest. Everybody will nobody will be going on 3 days of rest.
It makes everybody a lot of sense.
Everybody, Ranger Suarez, Connolly Early, Peyton Toley, and Sonny Gray will all be on normal rest because of these 2 off days that are close to each other. So you're able to just go through, that 4-man rotation, and then hopefully next week after Monday, when you go through another long stretch of games, that's when Garrett Crochet's back. Whether he, hopefully he's able to go and do the rehab in Worcester, because personally, I think he's been gone too long at this point to come back.
Yeah, he said that he doesn't want to do one, but I don't think that does you any good. I think he needs to figure out what it looks like, how he feels. I'd rather him try it out and then come back here, even if it's 2 or 3 innings in Worcester. I'd rather him as a safety net figure out that he's okay.
Yeah, but as far as Bello goes, just throw him in the bullpen.
I was going to throw him in my Republic Services dumpster for tomorrow for pickup, but I'm just harsh.
Yeah,
You
I
know
mean,
how
listen,
I
we saw him as the the bulk guy in those opener games, and
am.
13 in the third innings, a 1.35 ERA, a .75 WHIP.
Maybe Pedro needs to work with him a little harder.
Maybe
Let's go,
that'll
Petey.
help out.
Right.
But as a start, when he's pitching in that first inning this year, he has 30 and 2/3 innings. He has a 9.68 ERA and a 2.25 WHIP.
Oh, that's yummy.
Yeah, that's even worse than I thought it was. But like, I don't know what coming out of the bullpen does. I've never understood the opener.
I hate it because it's a Tampa Bay Rays way of figuring like they beat you in some sort of stupid. I hate it. I think it's a horrible look for Major League Baseball. I am never a proponent for an opener, but for some odd reason, it's worked for Bello 3 times or 2 times?
2 times.
2 times.
Twice.
Yeah. Let's go. After my segment's done with the Bello trashing, I wonder what John Martinello is going to say in the Martinello Minute. Let's roll.
And now the part they don't want said out loud. No spreadsheets or corporate spin, just the truth, raw and impatient. This is the Martinello Minute.
Yeah, so I'll keep it short today. I mean, game 1, these guys, they had a lead late. They blow the lead. Yastrzemski, who seems to, I don't know what his career numbers are against the Red Sox, but he loves playing against us. Maybe it's because his grandfather was here for 20 years, but maybe he just feels good about it. He feels more comfortable than against other teams, but he is a terrifying, he's one of those Rowdy Tellez. He's one of those just Red Sox killers, just the guy that you wouldn't expect. So he had, again, another great series against us, but first game, Mayer ties it up in the 7th. He has that home run. Connolly early, 5 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, both of them off the homer, which the home run thing with Connolly early is kind of interesting. His first 8 career starts, no home runs given up. And then that start in Minnesota, he gave up, I think, a leadoff home run to Buxton. And since then, he's given up, I believe it's about 10 home runs in his last 8 starts or so. So, the overall damage hasn't been bad at all. The guy's still rocking, I think he's around a 3.5 ERA at worst right now. But, he always gives us somewhere close to a quality start if it's not. And, again, this whole series, it's really just about the offense. This offense hasn't scored more than 3 runs since May 7th. They had
a month.
Yeah. We're closing. Yeah, we're
closing in
on 3 weeks.
The end of May.
Strider was nothing special. He had an okay game. But yeah, the first game of the series really hurt because I felt like it was a game that you take even the last 5 years of Red Sox teams. That's a game that they typically do win. Game 2 was all Peyton Toley, 8 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 2 earned runs. He also gave up a leadoff home run to Drake Baldwin, who's having a ridiculous year. Rookie of the year last year, obviously, and he's great behind the plate. He's a phenomenal hitter. He's hitting 300 this year. He has 12 or 13 home runs now. He's a fun at bat to watch.
That can hit the baseball.
Yeah, he's a really nice watch night in and night out. But Toley, he's got a 2.05 ERA, a .78 WHIP. Batters are hitting 160 against him with a 5.02 OPS. The guy's been nails, and we
He's
we
the
talked
most
about
exciting player on the Boston Red Sox. That's
Absolutely.
my statement of the night.
Absolutely, and we talked about it when he got the call up here when Crochet went down, or was it? It was when Sonny Gray went down. He got the call.
When Sonny got yeah.
And our question was: is this once Sonny comes back, does he go back to Worcester? And we kind of all agreed upon like if he pitches like how he did against the Yankees, there's no way that they're going to be able to do that. And he's through 4 starts now, and he has a 2.05 ERA.
Conley early and Peyton Toley are the bright spots of this very sad, depressing, pathetic 2026 season.
Absolutely.
100% there.
But listen, game 2, you're down 1-2 in the 8th inning with 2 outs. I wasn't even watching. I was out to dinner with my family, and then I see my grandmother actually looked over to me, started cheering. She's a Yankees fan,
God.
and she's with she watches more Red Sox now, but she goes, "Oh, they're winning." I'm like, what the hell happened? And obviously Wilson Contreras hits that moonshot. And then the crazy bottom of the ninth in that one, which I'm very glad I wasn't watching for.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, today just stunk. Offense gives you nothing. You out hit your opponent and they beat you by 7 runs.
Yep.
That's a tough pill to swallow. So like they get the hits, but it's just one guy gets on an inning. Outside of that, it's uncompetitive at bats. A couple, hard hit balls today. Willier had a couple that he hit on the buttons, just right at guys. But until this team shows any life in offense, it's going to be that every series is going to go like this.
Cooled off today.
Yeah, which
Mickey Mantle Gasper.
Yeah, the Mick wasn't gonna be. He wasn't hitting 450, for much longer than he did, which is,
right.
You can't ask any more of that out of him. But yeah, I mean, it's a tough series, one that I thought that they weren't even going to win a game. So, walking away with 1 out of 3 isn't the worst thing in the world against the best team in baseball up to this point in the season.
Anything else you want to mention in your Martinello 10 minutes?
I have a theory.
Oh God, here we go.
A theory.
Yeah, the Red Sox will sweep the Kansas City Royals. Yes.
No, I'm not going there. The Red Sox have been so bad from an offensive standpoint because they are rebelling against Craig Breslow, intentionally playing bad offensively to get him fired as well.
You conspiracy theorist, you.
I had the tinfoil hat on earlier, and I
can picture you there.
I'm not saying that's true, but I'm also not saying
man.
that's wrong. If nobody can prove me wrong in the comments, I'm gonna stick with that.
Conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. So they're conspiring to make sure they suck all season. Great.
Yep. And then once Craig Breslow's gone, they're gonna go on a 10-game.
I like it. That's a new one. We got to go to the third strike right down the middle of Broadway. Here it comes.
And now, it's time for the third strike with Thayer.
All right, so the third strike is gonna sort of take us in a different direction. Since we don't have anyone playing general manager, I'm going to play general manager. We've sort of seen some comments already that they've already wasted the opportunity of trading Bello and Duran, and I completely agree. Their stock for those players have gone completely down, and the Red Sox have a history of doing that. With any and all prospects, players they have, they never take advantage of them at their highest return of value. So here's what I do right now. I trade Aroldis Chapman as soon as I possibly can because I do not think he is the same guy he was last year. Not that he was going to be anywhere near it, but we are starting to see the regression, his inability to throw strikes on the sort of the same consistent rate that he was doing. Plus, last year we were winning. This is a team where we are not going to win. He is not going to be coming in save situations. Heck, he doesn't have very many. He comes in to tie games and things like that. I have a very, very sneaky suspicion that if this team continues to go down the tubes the way they are, he is going to turn himself off mentally. And
I think he's their most valuable asset on their team right now. For a trade commodity, absolutely is.
Value he has, if they wait a week, 2 weeks, it is very possible that that value is going to depreciate. Not that Breslow is capable of getting anything worth it out of it, but the longer they wait, I think they are going to really regret it. And
do you have any teams on your wish list that you're hoping would pull the trigger on Chapman?
After what we sort of watched, the Phillies do not have much in the bullpen. And I think they've always had a need for someone like that. And the way Dombrowski works, there's a very good chance he would be the person that would make something like that happen.
And he works early too. Like you said, if this was a now thing, Dombrowski is a very proactive guy who, if there's interest and he knows that he needs to get something, 9 times out of 10, he makes that happen.
And, with all the cockfighting going down in Puerto Rico, the Dodgers are going to be looking for somebody.
Yeah. Are you looking for players back or are you looking for prospects?
I want prospects right now. I think this season is a loss. I think from a pitching standpoint with Suarez, Early, Toley, and Crochet still locked up, that they are going to have a very potent 4-man rotation. the fifth person figure that out as we go along. We're going to need some bullpen arms, but we need to bring in some offensive productivity in the minor league system, people that are going to come up, hopefully, because you're not going to really get anyone of value on sort of the major league roster right now. No team that needs the closer is going to be willing to part with an impact player on their roster right now. So we're going to have to get someone that, not that Chapman is going to bring it, but we're going to be sort of looking at, what the Cubs got for him, something along those lines, send them to the Yankees where they get sort of something that can be a productive player. And hopefully that's what we can get. But that's
I did see a little buzz that the Pirates want him back, but hey, the only one I really care for on the Pirates is Paul Skeens. That ain't going to happen. That would be a fairy tale of the land of that happening. So, no, I think it's a very proactive approach with one of your best assets, if not the best asset that's there, that could potentially bring you something of a haul. Because there are desperate teams out there. The only problem that we face with all of this is that those nerds are going to still tell you that they're 3 games out of a wild card. So the season is not over right now. And that's the problem here is they're still in, quote unquote, the hunt for a wild card, which is wild to even say that. That's how bad your AL East, your American League is.
And it makes me nervous because if we keep on getting closer and closer and closer to this trade deadline and they're 5 to 8 games below 500 and they're still within that, within a 4 games, what's his name? One of the guys on Nesson, I think it might be Lou Merlone, which I know, Nick, I know you're not the biggest fan of him, but he says is, however many games back you are from the wild card, that's how many weeks left you have to, say you're 4 games back. If you have 5 weeks left of the season, you could make the playoffs. But the gist of it is just however many weeks you have left, that's how many games back you can be. So just if they're around these 3, 2 to 5 games out of the wild card and we get to this trade deadline, I'm really nervous about Craig Breslow doing that buy and sell dynamic that we saw Heim do, and we've seen Breslow do as well, which it never works. Granted, none of the trade deadlines in the past 5 years have worked for the Red Sox outside of getting Kyle Schwarber in 21.
That was the 2021. Yeah, that was the last one. Did I ever show you this picture with myself with Lou Merlone back when I was 13 or 14? Yeah, I asked him to sign it one day, and he said no. So that's why I have some hatred to Lou. Not really hatred. It's just I think he's a little arrogant. Ooh, did I say that? Ooh. Sorry. Maybe Tony Maz will sign something for us this upcoming week if he comes on. Let's jump into Trevor Story land. So there he is, hands on his hips. Trevor Story, we heard on, I think it was Friday, that he has been battling since spring training, guys, a sports hernia. And he is seeking opinions right now on if he is going to have surgery or not. What do we feel is best for Trevor Story? I'm going to go to you first, Thayer. Tell us, bring us a ray of sunshine, please.
All right. First, you never wish injuries on anybody. However, for his well-being, I think he needs to go have the surgery, go out for the rest of the year, and allow the Red Sox to start to move on. That's really the ultimate thing. Just getting the sense of the player that he wants to play, he wants to be there. I think, he's probably pushed himself beyond what he's needed to do the last couple of years, at least this year, probably playing in pain, but this season's a wash. Just go get yourself healthy, and if you're truly who you think you are, you'll come back, you'll get a free agent signing somewhere, and you can move on with your career somewhere else. Because unfortunately, just with the Red Sox, he's never, ever going to be appreciated because he just hasn't produced. And that's really what this town is all about.
You make it sound like we're having a funeral for him for going out. I want guy out of here. I want him. I'll drive him to Colorado tonight and let the Rockies have his surgery and let him go do his rehab over there. That's just how I feel.
Well, the Red Sox are the team that loves to get people money for surgery. So,
of course they would. They get the insurance claim. They're thrilled right now. They don't have to pay him half his damn money this season.
Exactly.
So, insurance claim, insurance adjuster, give me that money. They're happy as a clam. They threw a barbecue last night, so they're thrilled.
The Aflac Duck is going to start sponsoring it.
Aflac. Anyways, let's go to John. Are you quacking
listen,
right now? Just don't throw crackers at me.
No. But yeah, Trevor Story, the guy's missed over 50% of the games that his potential games since signing with the Red Sox, and it's just been a roller. Like, obviously, most of these injuries have been just nothing short of a freak, incident with him. But for the direction of that this team's going, we've had 75% of the fan base since opening day calling for Marcelo Mayer to be the shortstop. Obviously, I like the person Trevor Story a lot. I think he is in the clubhouse, not so much on the field, but like in the clubhouse, a good mentor. I won't say a leader, but I think he has the correct, competitiveness and love for the game. And you could see it. The guy wants to be out there. I mean, he's been fighting this sports hernia since spring training, it seems like. And I think that he's obviously devastated that he can't be out there, that he's hurt again. But from the Red Sox player perspective and what it opens up for the Red Sox to do, I'm not upset that this has happened. I hope he goes and gets this surgery done. That's going to sideline him for, it says roughly 6 to 10 weeks. I won't mind that happening at all, because we saw it today. The reporters are asking Marcelo Mayer, do you want to play shortstop? And obviously his answer is yes. Chad Tracy said Mayer's going to start getting some work in at shortstop, pre-games, whatnot.
Hallelujah.
So Hallelujah. I don't think that that's something that's going to happen within the next week or so, but who knows? Maybe mid-June Mayer starts playing
Why
shortstop.
would you say it's going to be extended longer time? This is a position that he grew up with, that he came up as, and should be absolutely perfectly fine to be a smooth transition there. So if they do,
I could find the quote, Tracy said something. Well, I think there was a question given to him along those lines, and he answered it. I'll have to find the quote, but yeah, I mean, I want.
They make it out to seem like it's brain surgery when these players have to go and play another position. Drives me absolutely insane. Yeah. Very simple. Marcelo Mayer, do you want to play shortstop? Yes. Okay. You're playing tomorrow night. That's what should be done. I mean, I go back to the Butterfield years and when we had other great infield coaches where these players were just ready to go. No excuse, no nothing, no nonsense, and play. This team, you got to ring out a parade to go and get the song and dance treatment with some of these guys to go and move positions. It's freaking brutal. Marcelo Mayer, we saw what the glove was. We saw everything that he could do. I'm excited for him to get the opportunity to play at short, because I think his potential could grow more so than it has at second base, because shortstop's more comfortable to him, at least in my opinion.
I agree. My concern with just dropping him at shortstop is, and this kind of is going back to the conversation with Bello, is the psyche. They have put so much pressure on Roman Anthony and Marcelo Mayer, and even when we were sort of talking about Campbell and putting him in places where they weren't successful. And baseball, we always talk about, is such a mental game. And
big time.
Right now, defense is the one thing he is the most comfortable with. And that is allowing him to sort of hopefully hone that offense. And he's doing all right, but he's still struggling. And people are still talking about it. Now, if they move him to shortstop and he falters for whatever reason, he now starts to think about defense as well as the offense, And it's a very difficult thing to do at a young age in the majors until you're established. So I'm fine with them getting him ready and not just dropping him in there. Like more times than not, and sort of going back to what you were talking about with Butterfield, when you have pros and established professionals, like no problem. Fernando Tatis is playing second base. Mookie Betts is playing shortstop and second base. Those are gold glove outfielders coming in, but they understand what it is to play Major League Baseball. They have confidence. They understand what is necessary to be successful, and they're not going to let those little things get to them. I worry that these kids, because we've noticed it, that the minor leagues did not prepare these guys for baseball. They didn't prepare them for winning. They didn't prepare them for anything other than trying to be some sort of drive line hitter. They didn't give them opportunities to learn how to play the game. They didn't give them opportunities to learn how to fail. And that is what I worry will happen here, because really we are in such a crossroads, because there is a very strong possibility that these offensive players are not what we hope they are going to be. And if that's the case, then we're going to be sort of put back to another 4 or 5 year rebuilding project.
Yeah, I mean the way I see it with Mayer, honestly, at shortstop, we all know that he's from California. He's got this super cool demeanor. Watching games, it looks like he's actually bored playing second base. He's so smooth, obviously, out there.
He's cool for school attitude.
Yeah, and I think that because he will get that opportunity to go be the shortstop at some point fairly soon. Tim Healy actually tweeted out at 11:30 this morning that Mayer went himself and went to talk to Chad Tracy about potentially moving to shortstop. And so he is going to start getting some practice over there, which one thing I think is kind of ridiculous is that the player had to go and ask his coach if he could go and play the vacant position. But he's been a short, as we said,
tomorrow.
It's probably how, and I think his voice is a little bit deeper, but I think that's,
Daddy, please, I'll be a good little boy.
Yeah. But, I think that he obviously views himself as a shortstop, and obviously he's going to say all the right things, which he has. I'll go play third, shortstop, second base, whatever the team needs. So at least through the media's eyes, he's saying all the right stuff. But I think that when he does get that opportunity at shortstop, he's going to be excited. I think that it is going to bring just a extra, another bar of focus, and, he'll go to another level of just being, engaged in the game, because he's playing what he'll finally be playing what his, actual primary position is.
I want to be frank with all of you guys. I know my name's Nick, but I'm going to be frank for a minute. Personally, I want him there, number one, of course, for development and to get him comfortable into his position that I feel like he'll excel with. But the biggest reason, do you guys really want Andrew Monasterio at shortstop? Do you want Connor Falefa as your shortstop right now? Hell no. I would much rather have my guy who's much better with the glove, Marcelo Mayer at short, and then go hide those other two buffoons anywhere else. And also now you have Nick Sogar, who is now up in the team as well too. So that's another, in my opinion, a better option than a Connor Falefa at least. So I know Monasterio has been kind of on a heater a little bit, but I also want to make sure we understand this is a platoon guy. That's it. If you want to play him against lefties, go ahead. Play him at third, play him wherever it is. But for the love of God, please get Connor Falefa and obviously Caleb Durbin out of my life as well too. That's another story probably for another show. But
yeah, well, and Romy Gonzalez is going to be coming back supposedly within the next 3-4 weeks. So Myers at short, he could just go play second base, and that's a bat that I trust a lot more than any of these other guys that are coming up.
Speaking of the next person, there he is. Your Roman Statue of Liberty is coming back shortly, we presume. There it is. It's worth a penny now. The report is that Roman Anthony has out of his wrist right now, out of that wrist brace, he is now taking dry cuts and getting himself back into baseball activities with the bat. Gentlemen, where are we at this frigging soap opera with Roman Anthony? Because I am done with getting more reports. Get your butt on the field and play baseball is where I'm at. Thayer, give it to us.
I think they're just going to sort of delay it. I don't think they're giving us the true answers with this. And this is what is also bothering me, is the fact that they're slow playing Anthony. They're slow playing Crochet. This leads me to think that Breslow has a lot more control than we think he does, and a longer leash than we think he does. Because if this were a general manager or president of baseball operations who was truly on the hot seat, he would be doing everything he can to get these guys in. So either he is a absolute team first kind of guy who could care less about his career, and if he is, then God bless him. But I think he's probably got a little bit more control, and unfortunately, I think we're in a lot of hurt because they're just going to take this guy's time. They're not going to rush him back in, and there's no reason to. This team stinks. There's no reason to rush him back in to hurt him for any purpose. They're going to wait until he's 100% truly healthy, and then they're going to bring him back in. So we aren't going to see him, I wouldn't say, until June earliest.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm
kind of on the same wavelength as Thayer here. If he's just starting to, and it's not even getting hacks in the cage, he's starting to swing a bat tomorrow, and he's going to start with hitting flips, and then based off that, he'll progress over to a hitting machine and the traject machines that they use. So, yeah, I don't think that he's back at minimum for another 2 weeks, and then on top of that, I'd prefer to go and see him do, a 2 to 5 game rehab assignment in Worcester, just to, get a couple hacks in, see how everything's feeling. Is it flawless?
Roman.
Yeah, I think that there's no reason why that wouldn't hurt him. And again, like, this team's just been, in the mud at 5 to 8 games below 500. I don't see them doing, going down much lower than that. So just bring it when he's healthy, when he's ready to go, bring him back. And until then, I'm not too concerned about it.
Well, that's the thing here, guys, is I even worry that it's more than the wrist. I mean, I'm worried with the back. I'm worried that it's hangnail the next day. His baby toe is going to hurt and he can't play. I'm worried about the durability side of Roman Anthony. I really am. At a 22-year-old kid now, he just had his birthday, I think it was last week. I don't remember another prospect of this hype coming up to the big show here, and it's injury after another thing and another thing for this kid. I feel like we haven't even seen truly yet what Roman Anthony is. And everybody out there just said, oh, don't worry, future MVP, don't have to worry. This guy's a stud. Lock him up, extend him. You're going to love him. And I want to, but I can't keep looking at everything in front of me, and this guy is made of glass right now. It's been just about a year since he's been up here now, and we have, a 2-month sample size? That's it. And the team felt that it was worthy of extending him and giving him all the accolades and all this and making him, the star of the show here and not surrounding him with any protection, any nothing. It scares me because not just injury side of things, it's up here. And so many of these players on this team mentally are shot. It's like they need their own therapist to get through every single game that they're at to make sure that they're in the right mental state, that they're focused on the game and their ability and helping the ball club win games. And I don't know if that's the case with a lot of these guys at all right now. And truth be told, the Red Sox have set Roman Anthony up to fail.
And that's actually the key, Nick, that you're saying. And I understand how you feel, the frustration with Anthony, but we haven't had a player come up in really 2 decades that has had so much potential sort of thrust upon him, or not, that has potential, that had so much sort of requirement thrust upon him so quickly. And
even
all
when
the other
Nomar
players
came up,
Nomar when he came up was
in
a nothing.
96, but he had protection.
Right, but he was also a nothing. He was just a guy that they brought up. And he started to fly, but he also had guys around him. And they had Betts, and when they brought up Bogarts, and when they brought up Devers, and when they brought up Ellsbury, and when they brought up Pedroia. All these guys that came up, they struggled. But they struggled too. And their struggles were not as sort of as I guess you could say damning as his are, because all those other guys had professionals around them, had entrenched players who carried all the weight. Ellsbury, Pedroia, those guys didn't come up having to hit first, second, third, and lead, and drive in all the runs. They were hitting eighth and ninth. Pedroia sucked for the first month of his career. He was garbage. Ellsbury was the same thing. We talked about how he could not do anything, couldn't get on base.
I mean, it was the Coco Chris show. Coco Chris was your guy.
Right. All of those things were going on, and they allowed them to develop. The Red Sox, again, getting back to that malpractice, did not provide these guys with anything. They are throwing them into the fire, and they're throwing them into the fire unprepared,
expecting them to produce too.
Right. And Pedroia had a position, and Ellsbury had a position. Anthony sort of has a position, maybe doesn't have a position, but they're expecting offense and everything out of these guys. And that's really the problem. And the ironic thing right now, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, is right now the young pitching is better than the young hitting. And I cannot believe I'm saying that about the Boston Red Sox.
I can give them credit for at least the past couple seasons with actually developing the pitching side of things, because for the longest time, John Lester was really our last guy that was a homegrown talent that was truly developed and actually did something with himself.
Yeah. And Thayer, as far as your what was that, Nick?
Go ahead. I was going to say, you can go as far as the early Peyton Toley and all the other young kids. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, no, yeah, and they have a whole plethora of guys down all the way down to Greensville right now that all look, everybody's pitching great. But as far as the protection thing standpoint goes that you were talking about, go look at Pittsburgh right now. They, for the first time in the past 10 years, actually went out and bought professional baseball players to go and bolster this offense, obviously for Paul Skeens, because they want to maximize, his tenure, while he's still there. They want to win some games because they're not re-signing him to a contract, but they got guys that you can rely on for the 19-year-old number one prospect who, guys, guess what? Until a week and a half ago, he was hitting eighth in the lineup every single day, because you can't rely on somebody that isn't legal to drink a beer yet. Obviously Roman is, but you can't rely on these 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds to carry a team. Juan Soto did it. He's an anomaly. All right. This is Juan Soto we're talking about.
He didn't even do it for a year. He got hot in the playoffs.
Exactly. Like there's not too many guys ever in the sport of baseball that have been able to just come in and carry an offensive load immediately at this young age. So obviously it's been malpractice for what the Red Sox have done to Roman Anthony so far in his career. And, I think that that's part of the offensive struggles is because he, is just putting, all this weight on his shoulders that just should not be there. So, hopefully when he does come back, he's, at 100% again. And, I hope he's not leading off, because Tracy kind of talked about it today, pre-game, about, when he comes back, is he going to be the leadoff guy, or is Duran going to be the leadoff guy? So hopefully, I want Roman to hit somewhere between third to fifth in the lineup. I think that'll suit him a lot better than, being up in that 1 or 2 hole for the time being. But also other guys have to step up and perform as well for Roman to be able to be that far down in the lineup.
I won't be happy if he goes into the 1 spot, but I'll understand, because that's how piss poor Jarren Duran is.
Yeah.
You don't got anything else. You don't have anything else. Let's go to our pitching probables for the next series. So we are now shifting gears to the Kansas City Royals. The Red Sox will begin a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. Games are at 7:40. So not really that difference of a time. They're in the Midwest kind of time zone, so they have to figure all that out here. I am going to just change my screen here for a second so I can show you the probable starters for the 3-game series. So we will have Sonny Gray facing off against Seth Lugo. That'll be Monday night. Tuesday will be Ranger Suarez, hopefully more extended than what we saw the last outing. Will be up against Chris Bubik. And then Wednesday, Conley Early versus the guy that I wish was still a Red Sox because he was one of the more underrated pitchers that we had here, a one-year wonder, Michael Wacha. Let's go through where we're at. I'm going to go back to our other screen here. Give me 1 second. There we are. Let's go to Thayer first. Thayer, Monday's game. Where are you at for that one?
We're going to lose that one 1-0. We're going to lose Tuesday's game 2-1, and we're going to lose Wednesday's game 2-0.
So you're going Kansas City, who hasn't won in what, a week? You said, John, is going to get a three-game sweep of the Red Sox.
Very possible we could be running into a game 1 and sometime around Wednesday because it's 0-0. Although I doubt that because ultimately Weissert or Kelly are going to have to come into these games. So I wouldn't be shocked if the starting pitching gives up less than 2 runs each game and the Red Sox lose.
John.
Yeah, I mean, the way I see the series going, I'm going to go with 2 out of 3. I think that they win tomorrow. I think that they lose the middle game with Ranger Suarez, and then I think that they win the rubber match on Wednesday. Only reason I think that they lose on Tuesday is they're facing
lefty.
Chris. Yeah, it's a lefty. So
yeah,
that's about it. But
they'll be negative 5-0 on that game.
But yeah, no, I think this is a Royals team that's kind of on the same boat as us. Yep. They can't hit. They get hot for 1 game a week. It's really the same stuff. Thayer and I were at Yankee Stadium a couple weeks ago. We saw this offense. There's nothing special about it. Bobby Witt will get on base. He'll hit a single. He'll steal second and third, and then nobody else can drive him in.
Hey, don't knock on Salvi Perez.
He hit a home run today. Salvi Perez is still a baseball player.
He's going on 57.
And obviously, Vinny Pasquantino, I love. I think he's celebrating his 72nd next week.
Makes sense.
But
you might see George Brett in this series too, if you're lucky.
Well, yeah, I got 2
Mike
out of 3.
Sweeney's coming out of retirement.
Yeah, exactly right. Nick, before you give yours, just sort of getting on your piece about Michael Wacha and pitchers that the Red Sox probably should have kept around, and Lucas Giolito is winning 7-0 in the 6th inning with the Padres.
Well, I said 3 weeks back before he was signed, I said to you guys, I would have given him a shot after when you saw Eric Crochet go down and you were trying to figure out what exactly your rotation was going to be. This was before, what's his name? Jake Barrett came up.
Yeah.
It's Jake Barrett, right?
Bennett.
Jake Bennett.
There you go. And I said, why not roll the dice here with Lucas Giolito and give it a shot? And Lucas Giolito will go with he'll have a good season with the Padres. Mark my words. He will be completely
he's pitching
great.
for the Mariners right now.
They're going to be so grateful they signed him.
Gavin Sheets has 2 more home runs today.
I'm sorry, Nick. I jumped on you before you.
Oh, no. For me, I am going to go with the Red Sox losing 2 of 3. I have to think about that for a second. I am going to go with tomorrow night as a loss. Sonny Gray will not get the loss. It'll be chalked up to our lovely bullpen because we haven't seen Zach Kelly in a few days. I'm going to give him the L on that one because he's due for a nice one. Or Weissert is definitely due for another ball off the fountain out in center field. Definitely that could be expected out there. So they better get the plumbing department ready after that launch. I think Tuesday the Red Sox can actually get a chance to go. I've liked what I've seen of Ranger Suarez after the first couple where he was not so hot, not so great. We questioned it a little bit. I think that's going to be a good start for him. And then Wednesday, I think Michael Walker will outduel Conley early. I don't think it's going to be a barn burner by any means, meaning that it's going to be a high-scoring game. Probably like a 3-2 contest, 4-3, something like that. But I do think Kansas City will take the series. And then we'll have a nice off day on Thursday. And wish we never went to Kansas City.
Then we got the Twins.
We come back to Fenway Park after that, I believe.
If anybody is in the gambling world, this would be a very good series to just take the under on every game, and you don't even have to watch. I think we're going to see a lot more of these 2-1, 3-2, 2-0.
Oh yeah, let the good times roll.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's safer to take the under in the first 5 innings for ensure you're locking into starters before you deal with.
Once things get weird once Weiser.
It's time for the piece of take. So we're going to go over to ridiculous.
I think you just got removed there, Nick. I couldn't hear a thing you said.
Oh, how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I think that you just removed.
Jim
I think
did
you removed
text
yourself.
in. I must have muted myself. I think it was Jim. He wanted to come back. This is one of his big segments that he likes to do. It's called Piece of Take. He texted in and he said for the Piece of Take, he wanted to reference the whole cockfighting thing that was going on with Edwin Diaz with the Dodgers. So does anybody have any comments that they'd like to share with the old cockfighting game?
I just think it's absolutely insane that a professional athlete would say that he feels at home in the cockfighting ring, regardless of who you are or where you're from, if it's legal in your country or not. The fact that you would say that to a live microphone is absolutely insane. And I know a lot of the people I've been playing baseball with and talking to out there in the National League West, whatever they've been doing to celebrate their wins, whether it was Kike Hernandez a couple of years ago, whether it was the Giants, I think Diaz was in the right division. But other than that, I have no idea.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you think's worse, Edwin Diaz or what the Giants did? Or what's more socially acceptable?
I don't think either of them are all that socially acceptable.
Oh, the Giants one was good. Shout out the Cardinals for what their fans. They had the whole section, the shirtless guys the other night when they walked it off. That was cool to see.
Yes.
I'm just glad Major League Baseball stepped in and put an end to that Giant thing. That's
yeah,
just,
I didn't need to see it more than once.
I think we can blame Kike Hernandez, Enrique, our good old friend from the Dodgers, for that. Did you ever listen to an interview that he did, by the way? I think it was a couple years back that said if he wasn't a Major League Baseball player, he would be a Chippendale. You ever hear that?
Checks out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I looked at that with his flaming blue hair that he had on that, and I said, he actually could have probably made more money that way. All right, let's go to
we have to do the star
comments.
of the game today, too.
Oh, would you? Let's do a star of the game. Might as well do the star of the game first. So, our star of the game sweepstakes. So again, comment, follow, get a chance to win that MLB gift card for $100. If you get it right, you earn points, and you want to lead the season, and you want to try and win to get the most points, you get this fun prize here. John, do you have a star of the game?
Today I do. Today it's going to be Mike Yastrzemski.
Yes.
Hit a home run. He had the walk-off. He hit a home run today. We were talking, I don't know if it was pre-show or in the first couple minutes, but it's a guy that just one of those Red Sox killers, and he showed out. He hasn't been playing too great this season. We show up into town and puts the Braves on his back. So Mike Yastrzemski, star of the game.
Mike Yastrzemski, Chris Sale, Sandy Leone. Am I missing any?
Sandy
Dom Smith.
Leone.
Dom Smith. What other former Red Sox are on this team? Anybody else? Are we missing any?
Oh my God, Dom Smith too.
It's like a reunion, a homecoming for players that actually did something on the team that could probably be helping this current team.
Yeah, Chris Sale.
I like it.
Too bad.
I wish Mike Yastrzemski had a chance to play here for the Red Sox. He gave me back when he first came up a little bit of Andrew Benintendi vibes, a little bit when he first came up into the game, but hasn't been lucky enough to play for the Red Sox at least yet in his career. I think he's in his mid-30s now.
Yeah, I think he's 32 or 33. Yeah, this was this past offseason was his first free agent offseason of his career. So
and he was
we'll get him on the 1 year. We'll get him on the 1 year deal when he's 38.
1 year deal. Yep. Well, we don't need any outfielders. Maybe if we get rid of Yoshida, we can find a place.
We could always take more left-handed outfielders, Nick.
Of course we could. Yep. Thayer, star of the game. Any thoughts? Star of the game. Can you hear us, Thayer? Thayer going once. He cannot hear us. He has no star of the game, I guess.
Not the Red Sox.
We are going to go now to comments. Let's see what people have to say about our lovely Red Sox. So we'll go to this one first. This is from Tilly. So we're not playing our best shortstop at shortstop now that Story is down, ? Well, we talked about that here a little bit, and I'm in the camp where I would be playing Marcelo Mayer right now at short. I think they're trying to get him up to speed and get him into a nice winning position so he is all ready to rock and roll and to put him into the best possible way to succeed. John, what do you feel?
Yeah, we talked about it. He went out of his way and talked to Tracy saying that he wanted to play shortstop because now that position's open. It's going to be for the next 2 months at least. So hopefully he is there at least if we get to June 1st and he still hasn't played a game at shortstop, it's just a lost cause at that point. But hopefully sooner rather than later we see Mayer at shortstop.
We'll go to this next one. Brez is gone soon. Book it.
I don't know
about that one. I want that to be true, but again, it's who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Give me a name. And you cannot name Theo Epstein as the replacement. You cannot do that. He is not going to be your general manager. Forget it. He's going to be the next commissioner of baseball, in my eyes. But I just don't think that they're going to cut bait right now with Brez. I think they're going to get him at least till the end, and if he fails, he fails. Next comment. You cannot let Breslow, that's interesting, nice analogy there, manage this trade deadline as we sell important pieces and look to rebuild. He must be fired ASAP. Again, it's who, give me a name. Give me a name. Who's it going to be? You want Dave Dombrowski back? He'll give you the Jaron Duran. Who's it going to be, folks? Who is it?
Yeah, I really don't think. I don't think I want him gone tomorrow morning, but I don't think that there's.
I wanted him gone last.
Who else?
Last year.
You're right. Who else is coming in, and that probably that's probably just not something that's going to be open at least for like I said it last show. I think John Henry is going to be the one to make. He's going to hand pick himself who the next PBO GM, whatever you want to call it, is, and I don't think that it happens until this offseason if they move on from Breslow.
Winning isn't important. And then the next one was, this is such an unserious organization.
Correct.
Duh. Yes, it is. And it doesn't look like it's getting any better. Next comment. They can't move forward until Brez is gone. No one in his own or other organizations respect him. See, that's the other thing that we have to think about with this managing the trade deadline here is that I don't even have a suspicion in the land that other organizations and teams across baseball laugh at him for what has gone on here at Fenway and will not make a deal with Breslow. I think it was a little different, a little bit different with Chaim Bloom. Bloom was just too afraid to make a big move. But Breslow is not well respected around baseball, I'll tell you that. And the only way I see him getting out of this is going to his old buddy Chaim Bloom, or going to Jed Hoyer with the Cubs, or Ben Sherrington with the Pirates, or Josh Burns over with the Diamond. All former people that were in the know that he was a part
Taboni
of
too.
Player. It's not going to be like calling up, the Dodgers with Andrew Freeman. They'll go, hello, this is Brez. Done. They're not even going to deal with him. Next comment. Why don't the beat people ask about Mayer at shortstop? I think the beat reporters in the city of Boston are not tough enough when it comes to having big questions asked to some people. I really do. I think some are pretty good. I like Cotillo quite a bit. I think he shoots from the hip. McAdam, I think McAdam does a great job. Fearless, old school kind of mentality. But the new ones up and coming, the questions are too fluffy for me. At least in my eyes. I don't know what you guys think, but I think they're too soft. They need to go deeper. They need to ask more tough questions to get more out of their stories.
Agree.
Next up, we all know Brez is the problem since we can't do anything with ownership. There's a lot of people saying the same thing with Breslow. Really missed the boat on trading Bello and Duran. Oh, yeah, that ship has sailed and it's sunk, and it went down just like the Titanic. They have just about zero trade value right now. None. 112 losses. We can do it. That would be a catastrophe if that ended up happening. I have them at about 60-ish. If they get to 70, I'll be surprised. I don't know about you guys.
I think 70. Yeah. 70 to 75 is kind of where they'll end up.
Betty has a love affair with me, so I appreciate you, Betty. But she thinks something is affecting his mentality, meaning and I need to find out what the problem is. Bello. Yep. Yeah, I agree. I'm wondering what the story is with his family. Is his family with him right now? Is something mentally up with him? That would be a tough question that I'd like to see if somebody can ask in a polite sort of way. Hey, is everything all right? How's everything in your life going? Something along those lines. And my other question I had on that is, do the Red Sox actually have a therapist, a person that they can actually talk to if there's tough things going on? I would assume they do. Like a sports psychologist, I would hope so.
They're all analysts. They don't believe in the human factor of the game.
True.
So they could
They're all robots.
Yeah, they have Duran talking to ChatGPT after
weak
games.
Mentality. Another one from Tilly. For all intensive purposes, this team is unwatchable. I'm used to losing the last 8 years, but the product is so bad you can't watch. Totally agree. Sports are supposed to be fun. Watching a Red Sox game is torture at some times. It's not fun. Last night was interesting, at least in the, with the Wilson Contreras home run. That was good. And then the interesting ninth inning. That was very interesting on how that game ended with Aroldis Chapman with the ball off of him. He's just a freak in nature.
Tilly, the positive thing is the Red Sox right now are like the Sox in 2. They're offensive innings to go very quickly, so you're not really spending an awful lot of time.
Get your Bigelow tea in while you watch them. See, I can even help with their advertising because I know that's what it's sponsored by. This team is trash, absolutely. Next up, I'd rather do bullpen games and watch a Bello start. I don't know about that. Because then your bullpen, I don't know about that. Just because then you're shattering your bullpen, and we don't have. You want to see the Zach Kelly show? You gonna like that? Greg Weissert, Stars
Ryan
and Stripes
Watson.
Forever theme will be playing every night if that happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
The Red Sox need to figure out what's bothering him. Yes. They need to figure out what's bothering a lot of them, not just Bello. Bello has too good of an arm to give up. I'm done, Betty. Sorry, I'm done. I can't do it anymore with him. Talking about the club is more frustrating than watching because nothing is going to change, at least for right now. I completely agree. True. The advanced metrics are worrisome. His savant page scares me, and I like him. Not sure he's a top rotation guy. Totally is a stud. Can I just talk for a second about advanced metrics and savant pages, all this crap? You know what I like to do with those? I like to wipe my butt and then flush it down the toilet. I don't give a crap about a savant page, advanced metrics. Go win a frigging ball game. Hit the baseball. Pitch the baseball. Run the bases. Field the ball. Done. That's how you win.
Now, as far as the savant page goes, it doesn't look great.
Shove it up my keister.
From a pitching stand, the values that they give him though are very good, and he's the one guy that I will 100% agree. I do not give a shit about what the savant page says. Watch the guy pitch and watch how he performs.
I'm going to steal that line from Michael Felger. Shove it up your keister. Never send Toley down. Absolutely. I'm in the same boat. Betty, yes, I love them both. Every team needs a personality like Toley. Where else are we at? This one's interesting. Chapman would never go to the Yankees again. I think he has said that. Yeah, he does not want. He hated it.
They wouldn't take him back either.
Betty said here, I like Maz. And if you didn't know, again, Jim did a special cameo video with Maz. We're trying to work on a time where he can come on the show and talk with us. I think that would be awesome. If it's not this week, next week, we're hoping. So just stay tuned. We'll inform you in the comments and stuff right here. Pretty much all the rest of the comments are about Bello and all this stuff. Trying to see if there's any other ones that deserve any kind of mention. Here's an interesting one from Matt before we wrap. Don't we all think it's ironic that the second Sale left us, he pitches out of his mind and wins the Triple Crown, or almost did? Yeah. Yeah, it's expected. You know, a lot of these players that were bad or just trending in the wrong direction have gone on to figure out their careers elsewhere, and they have been perfectly fine. Hey, Boston's a tough place to play. We know that, but it's baffling to me, at least, to see the struggles that they have here, and then they go out every other place and they're fine. You know, they figure out how to play baseball again. I mean, even look at Sandy Leone. He's still playing baseball at 93 years old. That's just,
he's throwing guys out.
It's just unbelievable. And he's there because he's more of that personal catcher side of Chris Sale.
Yeah,
Chris
and I mean, as far as Sale goes, we all knew.
Physical.
Yep.
Yeah, as far as Sale goes, we all knew damn well that as soon as he left somewhere, he was going to have. I don't think any of us said, you know, he's going to go and win. You know, gun to my head, he's going to go win a Cy Young. But we all knew that once he left, he was going to have a healthy season. And like, I wasn't even too obviously upset about it, but it was just a stale situation. The guy needed a change of scenery, and you know, he wasn't going to go and do that in 2024 with the Red Sox.
Let me just click this comment off, and then we'll go back to our screen. Hide. Thayer, we're going to add him to the stage, and then we're going to go back to our full screen like we had before. Bear with me. There we are. Any final thoughts before we wrap here tonight?
I think it's just a season that is a loss from a win-lose standpoint, and just try to develop the pitching.
John, anything from you?
Give me Christian Campbell soon. I want to see the Mayer, Campbell, Anthony. I need to see that. It's been too long. We need to see all three of them on the same field.
You might as well. I completely agree. I think it's just time to figure out what works here and see what we can do with our youth. I think that's the best way of thinking about it.
Listen, maybe just all the young guys, they catch fire and they start winning some games, but I want to see.
We'll likely either be with you on Wednesday or Thursday. Probably Thursday because it's an off night, so we'll probably be with you then. Hopefully Jim will be able to join us as well. But for John, Thayer, and myself, I want to thank you all for joining us here for Red Sox Digest. Make sure you keep liking, subscribing. Again, we go out of our way to make these happen for all of you. So there is a way that you can also help with funding some of our things that we do as well. We do this out of the goodness of our hearts. So if you can help us, we can help you. We will see you next time on another episode of Red Sox Digest. See you all very soon.